Most people are staring at price candles, waiting for a green wick, while the biggest tier 1 banks in the world have already been mapped into a network that covers 80% of the world's trade corridors. Here on our news from Times Tabloid, it says Ripple or XRP links with biggest tier 1 banks in the world. Alright, we just get a massive piece of document right here, evidence, which is an evidence shared by researcher Smoke on X. We aren't talking about partnerships that are just for show. We are talking about a deep-rooted institutional grade payment engine that is finally ready for commercial deployment. If you think XRP is just another digital asset, the names UBS, Mizuho, and Thunes are about to change your mind. So let's break down why the world's banking moat is finally being breached. Alright? So let's start with the first question about, could 100 banks already be running on Ripple's rail? Alright, the document highlighted by Smoke right here is a massive wake-up call. It reveals that Ripple isn't just talking to banks. They are working with approximately 100 institutions, including the heavy hitters, the tier 1 giants that move the world's wealth. We are talking about Axis Bank, National Bank of Abu Dhabi, SEB, UBS, and Mizuho Financial Group. In my opinion, what strikes me most isn't just the number of banks, but the quality. These aren't small regional players. These are the gatekeepers of the global payments steering group. When you have institutions of this caliber helping shape the future of cross-border payments, you realize that the experiment phase is long gone. We are now in the phase of commercial deployment. So to me, this confirms that the foundation is solid. The banks aren't coming. They have been here building the architecture in silence. Right? Now, is 80% coverage the magic number for XRP utility? One of the most shocking parts of Smoke reveal is the statement that these relationships already provide coverage across more than 80% of the world's key trade corridors. All right? 80%. So think about that. Most of the money moving across the planet travels through these specific paths. So in my opinion, this 80% coverage is the tipping point. In any network, whether it's the internet or a payment system, you don't need 100% coverage to win. You just need the critical mass. By capturing the major trade corridors first, Ripple has effectively built a high-speed highway that everyone else will eventually have to pay a toll to use. Right? So I believe this isn't just about efficiency. It's about gravity. Once the majority of the money moves this way, the rest of the 20% will have no choice but to follow to stay competitive. Now, why is the Thunes US expansion a backdoor for institutional XRP? The narrative got even bigger when Smoke link Ripple's partner, which is Thunes. Right? Thunes has officially expanded its real-time payment services into the United States through a direct connection with a tier 1 financial institution. Right? So let's just highlight that part right here. So in my opinion, this is the missing link we have been waiting for. For a long time, the US was the hardest nut to crack due to the regulatory climate. But by Thunes establishing a direct institutional grade connection to local clearing systems, they are essentially laying the plumbing for the XRP ecosystem to flow into the US banking heartland. I see this as a strategic backdoor. While everyone was looking at the front door of the SEC, Ripple and its partners were busy connecting the pipes in the basement. This expansion makes the network truly global. Now, can licenses in the 50 US states create an unstoppable financial moat? Smoke pointed out something very important about the regulatory shield that both Ripple and Thunes share. Thunes hold money transmitter licenses across all 50 US states. This mirrors Ripple's own licensing framework. In my opinion, in the world of finance, licenses are the armor. You can have the best technology in the world, but without the legal right to move money, you have nothing. As a market observer, I see these 50 state licenses as the ultimate moat. It allows these companies to establish direct connections to local clearing systems without needing a middleman bank to hold their hands. This removes the friction and the extra fees. So to me, this is the final step in turning XRP from a crypto into a primary settlement tool for the US economy. Right? Now, does a network of 140 countries make XRP the new global standard? Right? Finally, we have to look at the sheer scale. Thunes operates in 140 countries, supports over 90 currencies, and connects to billions of mobile wallets. So in my opinion, we often talk about mass adoption, but we forget that the mass adoption happens through infrastructure, not just individuals buying on an exchange. By Ripple partnering with a giant like Thunes, they aren't just reaching banks. They are reaching billions of people who use mobile wallets. I believe this creates a global sentiment layer. Whether you are a tier 1 bank in London or a small business owner using a mobile wallet in a developing nation, you are now part of the same connected system. This is how a new global standard is born, not by forcing people to change, but by making the new system so much faster and cheaper that they'd be foolish not to use it. Right? As an overall, the documented evidence right here that we have seen today from our researcher Smoke isn't just news. It's a confirmation of a multi-year strategy. We've seen that Ripple is already woven into the fabric of 100 banks, including the world's tier 1 elite. We've seen that the infrastructure now covers 80% of global trade corridors. And with the Thunes US expansion, the last major hurdle, the American market, is being integrated into the real-time payment grid. Right? So as a market observer, the pipes are laid, the licenses are secured, and the tier 1 giants are at the table. We are moving away from the era of speculation and into the era of utility-driven volume. The network is live, and it's documented, and it's global. The only question left is how quickly the world realizes the reset has already happened. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next one. Or you might just as well check this recommended video right here.